And next in our list, we're going to combine two core services in this video because they have the same format, the same nature, which are educational tools. So these educational tools are intended to explain to our community of citizens, but also other stakeholder groups about common topics about crowd-thermal. So crowd-thermal pillars, such as social engagement, risk mitigation, alternative finance, and also geothermal energy as a whole. So these two tools are seen under the community stakeholder group. So these two tabs, and I'm going to go through each of them now. So first of all, how can I educate myself about crowd-thermal pillars? And for that, we prepared an information catalog for self-learning. So for example, crowdfunding platforms can understand more about geothermal projects, or traditional geothermal stakeholders can familiarize about alternative finance, and also to understand better about social license to operate and the importance of public engagement in the development of the geothermal project. So it's a simple tool, and it is divided in the topics that we were mentioning earlier. So geothermal energy, alternative finance, social aspects, and also risk mitigation. So these sections have a number of topics here. So for example, let's go to alternative finance, and here you can see crowdfunding or community funding. So if geothermal project developers are not aware of community funding, they can click, and each of these buttons will lead you to a wiki article. And these are short articles. Here is you can see there are two paragraphs to explain what is community funding, and these explanations come from crowd-thermal deliverables. So it is made by the experts in crowd-thermal consortium, and the explanation of these topics are compiled through these wiki articles. And here on the right, you can see the green section with a few items. So related core services, so core services that are related to the topic of community funding. So you can go to the interactive guide to integrated finance, or the toolbox for risk evaluation and mitigation, and so on. Related deliverables, so deliverables of crowd-thermal which are related to community funding in this case, and of course the deliverable where this text was extracted from. If there are scientific references in the deliverable, these are going to be listed here, but this is not the case for this specific example. And also related fact sheets. So there are a set of fact sheets produced by crowd-thermal consortium, and here you can access the related fact sheets related to the, in this case, community funding. And here you can share, so there are social media icons where you can share this to your network, and these have two purposes. One is, of course, to inform your network, other geothermal project developers, for example, about alternative finance or social engagement, or depends on which article you're visiting, but also to promote crowd-thermal as a project. They can visit our website and learn more about our core services and make use of them. So this is the first educational tool. And the second is a frequently asked questions, which is a traditional method for websites and platforms to assess the customer or the end user concerns, and then to simplify it and ask the common questions about these topics. And the topics that we choose, of course, are the topics around crowd-thermal, the same as the wiki articles that I just presented. So these FAQ have the similar division. So geothermal energy, alternative finance, social aspect, and risk mitigation. The difference is that it's in the format of quick questions that you can expand the questions by simply clicking in the tabs. So for geothermal energy, we can select, for example, what is a geothermal heat pump? And then this is going to lead you to a separate section, because then you can also share on social media. And these are, just a quick explanation. Some are one paragraph, some are just 3 lines, it depends. And these will provide you also with further consultancy, so further references, as in this example, and also scientific references in this case. So this is similar to what this described before, but for the wiki articles, we select more broad topics and explain them. And here is actual, more precise questions that we are trying to clarify. So these are the two educational tools. And please provide your feedback. And if you have questions that are not answered in the FAQ, you feel free to go through the bottom of the page. So where can I get further help? You can contact us, ask your question, and we're going to try to answer it as best as possible. And of course, add your question depending on the topic that we are covering.